and welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where after yesterday's incredible Rat Run, the sort of penultimate episode of Rat Run ever, which was a Fog of War, we have another Fog of War today called Foggy Banana Split by SamuPiano, whose birthday it is today. And I know it's your birthday, SamuPiano, because I heard from two other constructors, Sudoku and Oddly Even, both wanted to wish you a very happy birthday. Both suggested this would be an excellent puzzle to have a go at. I found it on Logic Masters Germany. It's got 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty, a wealth of really positive comments. And it features a rule set I've not seen for a long time, but always makes me laugh, which is the rule set Choco Banana. And Choco Banana is this, I think it must have been invented in Japan, probably by Nikoli. And it's the idea of dividing a grid into areas that are rectangular, like chocolate bar shapes, and areas that are not rectangular, like bananas. So that is what we're going to have to do today using, let me just scan the rules. There's some, I think it's split P. Don't worry if you don't know what this is. I barely know what this is. But I think it's some sort of split P logic is going to allow us to do the division of the grid. And I'm looking forward to having a go at this. And SamuPiano, I hope you enjoy watching me do battle with your puzzle. Fingers crossed I'll be able to solve it. And I hope today is obviously filled with some very heavily iced chocolate cake. But before we read the rules together, let me just trot through a couple of other things to mention before we kick off. The first is we're streaming again on Sunday this week as part of the Cerebral Showcase on Steam. You can see we've taken the very last slot in the showcase at 10 p.m. UK time on Sunday evening. We'll be back in the Blueprints Mansion, of course. That will be a surprise to nobody, but we'd love to have your company if you're free, and let's see where we go next in that extraordinary game. What else? On the 1st of June, which is fast approaching, over on Patreon we'll have a brand new competition launching. Theme this month, or next month I should say, is going to be these recently released or declassified files from America about aliens and what evidence there has been of aliens over the years. Well, the aliens we've noticed in those files some strangely Sudoku-like puzzles, and so that's what we've themed next month's reward on. So look out for that if you'd like to win the chance to come onto the channel and solve a puzzle. Other than that, I'll mention it again. You've got to check out yesterday's Rat Run puzzle. The story it's emotional. All the comments on yesterday's video have been how people have sort of become emotionally attached to a rat, and they can hardly believe what Marty's achieved. And the comments from Marty himself, he's amazingly diligent. He goes through all of them and comments on so many people's on so many other people's comments. It really is a delight. So you must have a go at that puzzle, and you must get yourselves involved in Rat Run. It is phenomenal. But I've got 2 more birthdays to do before we kick off today. Let me just look at my list. Well, actually, the first one isn't a birthday, but it's a rather lovely message for Alex D. I don't think it's your birthday, Alex D, but your friend stroke colleague, Anna, wanted to send you warm wishes and to thank you for introducing her to the world of variant Sudoku. She says solving with you is something truly special and something she looks forward to every week. And she wants to thank you for being such a wonderful part of the community and sharing the Sudoku, this Sudoku hobby more and more widely. And she hopes you have a fantastic day. So I thought that was a lovely message. Alex D, wherever you are in the world, I hope this resonates with you. And then the only other birthday is a younger birthday, Ava. Ava, you've turned 3 today. And I know this because your mum's boyfriend, Anders, wrote to me, and he thinks you're going to be amazing at Sudoku when you're older, because he's noticed that when you play hide and seek together, you often count 1, 2, 4, 10, 11 which is an excellent strategy. Absolutely brilliant. You'll win more games of hide and seek than you'll lose if you develop those sorts of counting skills. So well done, Ava. I hope you have a brilliant, brilliant birthday today. I hope the chocolate cake is very heavily iced, of course. And that, I think, is all the news. Shall we have a go? Foggy Banana Split by SamuPiano. Let's have a look at what we've got to do to finish this puzzle. We have got normal Sudoku rules applying, so we're going to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Fog, old school fog, it says. The grid is partially covered in fog. Placing correct digits will clear the fog from the surrounding area. Okay, so if we get the central cell, it will clear all of those cells. All of those cells would have their fog removed. Choco Banana. Shade all cells either brown. I don't have brown in my palette. I'll have to use something else. Brown, chocolate, or yellow banana, such that all chocolate areas are rectangular and no banana areas are rectangular. Okay, so it's like it's what I said before. Lines. All lines move orthogonally. Okay, so let's just check we all know what that means. To move orthogonally, a line must move in a cardinal direction, north, south, east, or west. It can't move diagonally, basically, is what that means. All lines move orthogonally and end in circles on either end. Lines do not cross, branch, or share cells. Circles, shading. Circles may be contained in either chocolate or banana cells. It's so ridiculous. Circles indicate the size of the area in which they are contained. Okay. Circles count. The digit in a circled cell with a line attached. Oh, so can there be circles without lines attached? I don't know. The digit in a circled cell with a line attached also gives the number of cells of the same shading as the circled cell along the line, including the endpoints. Oh, good grief, right. I think from this wording, it is implied that there are some circles in the grid without lines and some that have lines, and the ones with lines, basically the circle is going to be doing two things on those ones. It's not only going to say the size of the area that circle is part of, but it's also going to say how many cells along the line that it's party to, including itself, are of the same colour as itself. Good grief, that's complicated. And then, okay, then split P's. Digits along a line must sum to a 2-digit number, where the tens digit is in one circle and the ones digit is in the other. Okay, so let's do an example. If we had a split P line like that, I better not guess these, because if I did happen to luck into it. So say this was 2 and this was 1. Actually, this is a bad example, but what that means is that this line, those digits along the line, either sum to 21 or 12, I think. And goodness only knows what it means for shading. I'm not even going to think about that. It seems too complicated. But that's how the basic split P rule works. Right, then cells separated by an X sum to 10, cells separated by a V sum to 5, and we can't see any of those, so we'll probably forget about those until hopefully they emerge from the fog. And they are all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So presumably I can extend that line. I can extend that line. Now, do we know whether they join up? I think they do join up. Because if they didn't, they've clearly got lines emanating from them. They can't move diagonally, so that's an impossibility. And if we were to just join the line like this, the digits along this line can't sum to a 2-digit number, which they're meant to. I'm sure I read that. Let me double check. Digits along a line must sum to a 2-digit number. Yeah. That's how split P's work. So I mean, there's just these would both have to be 0. It's nonsense. So I think we can say that is what's going on. So okay, now there's a lot to think about here. Oh, goodness, there is a lot to think about, isn't there? Because, well, one of these is a 1. I mean, I think we can say that because this domino here, it must sum to a teenage number. It can't sum to 20 something because the maximum it could be would be 8 plus 9, which is 17. And we're told they all sum to a 2-digit number, so it can't sum to 8, for example. So one of these is a 1. Now, oh, hang on. That's going to affect that funny rule, the Choco Banana rule. So one of these is a single cell, because that's the size of its region. Ah, okay. So doesn't the other have to be a 3 then? That might be wrong. I'm just trying to interpret all the various rules. But I think because one of these is a 1, don't know which one, that will be a chocolate cell. Oh, I've got to check this out. Can I go use one of the more exotic? I have got a more exotic palette. I could try that. Let's just see what colour that is. That is definitely brown. I might do that, you know. I think I can do that. If I use my second palette, it does seem to have a chocolate or a brown and a yellow colour. Right, so imagine this was the chocolate cell. Then it's rectangular, so it's a 1. This would then be, it would have lots of properties. Firstly, it would be the units digit for the sum of those two cells. But it also has to count the number of banana cells on the line, because it can't count the number of chocolate cells on the line, because that must be 1. Otherwise, this would be the wrong total. So this, I think, yeah, okay. So let's get rid of the colours for the start. But I think this is a 1-3 pair. So these add up to 13, which can be done in 3 different ways. These two are definitely banana, because we know whichever is the 1 is the chocolate. And that tells us it. That gives us it. Because if this one was the 3, it would be an region of size 3, so it would look exactly like this, and it would be surrounded on all sides by chocolate, and it wouldn't be a banana. I mean, that's completely crazy, but I think that is how I think it has to look. And the banana is of size 3, so we can make both of those chocolate in order to ensure it's the correct size. So I think we put 3 in here, that's right. We put 1 in here, and the 1 has to be surrounded by banana on both of its sides. I'm starting to understand this a little tiny bit. Right, this is a chocolate cell, so it can't go there, because that's definitely not the shape of any nice chocolate that I know about. So that's banana. That's correct, isn't it? In the sense that it is currently rectangular and it could go that way. But now we've got 2 cells or 2 greeneries going into there. So there's a new line that's come. There's a new complete line here. I mean, I bet this has to be banana, but I don't know that. Okay. Those 2 circles must sum to 5. Oh, that's not true. I've just had a horrible, horrible thought. I just had a horrible thought. What would happen if that was chocolate? So what I'm now thinking about is whether you could both of those be 2s effectively? I don't know. I don't think I can rule that out logically. If that was chocolate, this would have to grow in order to not be rectangular. So it would be Oh, I see. That's quite interesting. That's probably right, even. Because if they were both chocolate, these three would be banana. And those three digits would sum to 22, which seems very... Oh, can we use the secret? Okay, let's go. I don't know if we can yet, but I'm going to do it just in case. The secret of Sudoku, something I share with only my very favourite people, but of course, if you're watching this video, you're one of my favourite people, is that this box here, in total, I know it sums to 45. And I know that because I know it's going to have the digits 1 to 9 once each in it. If we add the digits 1 to 9, you get 45. So... if those were 22 and those were 13, this is going to work, isn't it? This is going to work because that means these remaining four have to sum up to 10, which means they're 1, 2, 3, 4. With these being 1, 3, we said that would be 2, and that would therefore be a 4, and everything would work. So maybe there's a way to prove this isn't a banana cell then. Let's think about that. So if that's a banana, then this is not a banana shape, so that's fine. Ah. Oh no, gosh, actually it's really confusing. You've got to be very careful with this. That's my first suggestion. Do not assume anything. If this is banana, then my question is, doesn't this can't be a 1, so there can't only be one banana on this line. Sorry, one chocolate on this line, because then these would both be 1s in box 1. So actually, if this is banana, this is also banana. So this is now 4 of... oh. Well, it can't be 4, bizarre. I mean, that's a bizarre point. It can't be a 4, because it's already in a region of size 5. So it would have to be... but it doesn't work. Ah, well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, it's very complicated, but it doesn't work because whatever I put into this, it contradicts one of its rules. What do I mean by that? Well, this cell is yellow in my hypothesis, so it is supposed to count the number of yellow cells along the line. But it's also meant to count the yellow size of its region, which is clearly 1 bigger. So it can't work. So that is very confusing and very interesting. But I now believe this cannot be yellow. And I'm just going to recapitulate that in case there's a hole in that logic. I think the main thing that would give rise to a hole in that logic is if there is some way that this cell can be brown. But it can't be brown, because if it's brown, allowing this to be 2, then this would be a 3, which it can't be. Because there would be 3 cells on the line that would be yellow, and that would break this. Yeah, so it breaks all ends up, actually. It definitely doesn't work. And in fact, I'm realizing now that if I do make this yellow, this is still counting the browns on its line, and that's a 1. So it's really broken. It's broken for 2 different reasons. But that cell is brown. Now, this mustn't be rectangular, so that's become a banana like this. These 2 cells are both 2s. I mean, that is... oh, and it's right. Oh, and look at all this we're getting. We've got X's. Oh, we've got a V there. That's a V that hasn't got a 2 on it, so it can't be 2, 3. That's 1, 4. This does add up. This is a 4. By our maths on this box from before, we know these add to 22, they add to 13, so the remainder has to add to 10. Those. That 2 is supposed to be the size of its region. Well, at the moment, it's not 2, so we can brownify this one and pen it in with banana. That banana has to grow. This has to grow. This banana has to grow. It's currently rectangular. It still has to grow from this perspective. It's still, but that has, oh goodness, I can't see whether this circle has a line attached to it. There's a sort of X in the way, which might mean, it could mean anything. I can tell you that X is either 3, 7 or 4, 6, because it can't be 1, 9 or 2, 8 by Sudoku. There's a, oh, hang on. There's an X here that can't be 2, 8, 3, 7 or 4, 6, so that's got to be 1, 9, which means this is 4. That's going to clear more fog. That's 1. All sorts of things are kicking off in the grid now. This being a 4 means that that is 3, 7. So these remaining digits are 5, 8, 6 in box 4. And okay, this is good. Now, do you remember that this domino added to 13? Because it can't add to 31. So it's got to add to 13. Well, it's now not got 7, 6, and it's not got 4, 9, so it must be 5, 8, which makes this a 6. Didn't clear fog, maybe because fog's already been cleared. This is now 5, 8, and this is 6, 7, 9 to add up to the 22 that we're looking for. That's not 9. This is this can't be 9. That's great. Can't be 9 because this would be a 1 across the X. So that's 6, 7. This becomes a 9. No 6, 7 jokes are necessary. If this is 6, 7, across the X, this is 3, 4. Now we've got a green going there, and a green going there, and a green going there. Now it's going to get horrendously difficult to understand what to do next, isn't it? Because you're going to have to bear in mind all of these various rules and try and find or spot a contradiction. Which I haven't got a clue how we go about doing that. I mean, I can see that this brown 2 is either going downwards or that one, which gives a weird point, because that 2 has to be surrounded either way round. It's got to be surrounded by banana. So imagine it it's like a Nurikabe point. If you've ever done the Japanese logic puzzle in Nurikabe, because this is either brown in both those two or brown in those two, that one always has to turn yellow. I don't know if that's going to matter, but it's true. If that was brown, that would be yellow. That would have to grow, so all of those. So that would turn that into a 7, wouldn't it? Because it would be part of a region that's at least 4, so it couldn't be a 3. If it's a 3 here, I don't think. If it is a 3, this brown. Oh, it can't be 3. However I draw it. I think this is 7. I might be wrong about that, but the way I'm seeing that is, let's try and decide which direction the chocolate goes here. Let's say it goes vertically down. Let's just draw it in. Now this is definitely yellow, and this is not big enough because it's still rectangular, so it has to grow to there. So you'd have those as all yellow, and that has to be 7 in that instance. Now if on the other hand this is brown, this turns yellow. Again, making this impossible to be 3 because it's part of a size 4 region. So that's 7, I think. Yeah. Look, we didn't actually get. Oh, we got another circle here that's definitely not got a line attached to it. And that 7 really takes all the pressure off this banana because it can have so many different shapes. The digit in this cell is big. It's 5, 6, 7 or 8. It can't be 1, 2, 3, 4 or 9. So whatever shape that is, it's a considerable shape. Now, wow, I mean, what on earth do you do with this? Maybe we can prove they don't meet up. Yeah, I think you can prove that. If these met up, this circle is clearly not counting the browns on the line. That one is. So it would have to be a 4 counting yellows on the line. But because these would all become yellow, the size of the region of that yellow would be massive. It would not be only 4 big, would it? So that doesn't go there. I don't know whether that's just stopping or not. Oh, it can't stop because we were... Oh, can it? Actually, no, it can't stop. If that's a circle... Well, there's many reasons it doesn't work. It's a banana 1, which is nonsense because it's the only banana on its line, which can't be true. So it's got to grow. Now, what if... Let's be careful here. Again, if that was a circle now... I think, okay, hang on, this is getting very confusing, but this has to be yellow because the brown is dealt with by this chocolate. The chocolate 2 is saying, along this line, wherever this line goes, there are only 2 chocolate cells on it. So that's got to be yellow. Now, if it was a circle, it would be a 2. So it can't, the line doesn't end here. It's got to go further. Now, okay, that cell is not in Fog, is it? Right, here's another interesting point. Don't mock me. I am deeply aware that I'm not an interesting man, but this cell is not the end of this line, because again, I can't put a 2-digit total onto the line there. So this has to grow to there, which means this has to grow that way. Now, if that was a circle, it's still not going to work, because that then would be a 3 for the amount of bananas, and 3 has already appeared. So that's and that's still not the end, I don't think, of this line. Okay, here is a most peculiar point. I don't think that this line, wherever it ends, it's not just forming a straight line in row 1. And the reason I say that is that, say the circle was here, in this cell. We know that this is going to count the number of bananas along the line, which is going to be just those cells. But that's also then got to be the size of the banana region. So that would be rectangular, which it can't be because it's a banana. The same would be true if that's the circle. That would be... So this has to turn somewhere to make a banana shape. I mean, it's such a ridiculous point. But... Oh, yeah, okay, I've got something else. Right. That cell cannot be banana. Because what I've realised from what we've just discussed here about this line is that whatever the shape of the banana is that we're going to generate, when we put the digit in the circle, it's going to be at least a 4. But that's not really the point. It's going to be some number reflecting the number of bananas along the line, but that's going to be the same total as the area of the banana that circle is in. So if the circle was here, for example, let's just think about that. Let's just draw it in. Can you see how this would be it would be a 4, but let's not worry about that. The point is that this 4, the reason this is a 4 is it's counting the number of bananas along its line. But it's doing 2 jobs. It's simultaneously saying, and I'm part of a banana region of size 4. And if it went down here, it would be a 5, and it would be saying, I'm part of a banana region of size 5. So wherever it goes, this yellow region cannot connect to another yellow region here because it would become too big. The circle, wherever it is at the end of this line, would not be able to accommodate that extra area of banana. So that is definitely chocolate. And oh no. Yeah, I think this is also chocolate for exactly the same reason. I was just mulling over what happens if this connects to this, but it can't do that, can it? It's going to give rise to the same problem. I mean, it just can't, because there's already 3 yellows. Yeah, it's the same reason. We worked out earlier these don't connect. They still don't connect, so that still has to be brown. For the same reason this had to not be yellow. If this, let me just put that a different way. If that was yellow, wherever this line ends, it would be including in its count of its yellowness this cell, which it cannot do. So this has to stay rectangular, because that is definitively chocolate. Okay, that's chocolate, because if it was yellow, it should be the size of its region. Oh, this is good. This is good. This might have been available. Oh, no, I don't think this was available already, because I didn't have that cell marked as chocolate. But that cannot. Oh no, it was. I could have made this, because obviously, if this is yellow, it's part of a 5-cell region, which it's not. So that's brown. And now, if I make this brown, that's not a rectangle, however I extend it. So that's definitely yellow, and this is meant to be size 3 or 4, rectangle, so it's got to go down, at least to here. And this 2 now can't go hard. Oh, this is gorgeous. SamuPiano, this is gorgeous. Right, now this has to extend down and somewhere turn, but it's got the 7. This 2 is finished, so that's yellow. Now, can it connect here? Can that be yellow? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 6. It would be an enormous region. That's too big to be size 7, so that's chocolate. Chocolate, now that fixes this digit. Isn't that gorgeous? Because if this was 4, it would have to go there, which would make it not rectangular. So that's 3. And that has to be fenced in with yellow. I'm loving this. This is fantastic. That can't be banana. Yeah, well, it is banana, but it can't stay that size because it needs to be banana shaped. Is there any reason that that can't be a 7 and part of the same region as that? Let me go back to the rules. Circles indicate the size of the area they are contained in. The digit in a circled cell on a line, that's not relevant. That's very carefully worded, isn't it? I think that could be a 7 and part of this region, unfortunately. If it's brown, this yellow would have to come down there. In fact, how could it be brown? That's the point, isn't it? It is a 7, I think. Let's just think about that for a second. If it's brown, clearly this cell has to be yellow to prevent that being an unrectangular chocolate. Now this is a 5 or 6 region. Well, the only way of doing that in a rectangle is going to be to do a 6 like that. But that's going to pen in our 7 and make that impossible to fill. So that it just can't work. So this is yellow, which means it's the same size as this 7, which means it is 7. Haha. Okay, well that's going to go do some, oh, we could have done that. Oh, I didn't realise. I could have done some Sudoku from that already. Right, well what about this column 5, 8 at the bottom, and this column 1, 3, 6 at the bottom, and this column 2, 4, 9 at the bottom. Now, we can't see under the fog, so we don't know what this line does. That's rotten. That's tricky, actually. If it's brown, it's going to have to be a 3, this cell. It's going to be a brown 3 like that. Well, yeah, it is brown, isn't it, of course? This is, again, I'm slightly slow to the chocolate banana parts of this, but when you get them, it's like, oh, that's obvious, and it's completely, the logic's really cool. How could this be yellow? It would then attach to that yellow, which we know is of size 7, so that would be a 7. That's how the circles work. So this has to be brown. Now, what size of rectangle can this possibly be? It can't be 6. It would fall off the end of the grid. It can't be 1. It's got to be 3. So we know the shape, because it's got to be a rectangle, so we can bananify a whole load of cells as a result of that logic. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, if this one was yellow. So that's brown. Now, that's interesting. Because this circle has already counted the total number of browns on its line. So that is not the circle for this line. It's got to extend. If it went there, it would have to be a 2, a circle 2. And then the line would have to add up to 23 or 32. But the line that wouldn't work. Wouldn't work, would it? Because this line, its maximum sum is 19 at the moment. So I think this line turns to this cell at least. But then if it went to this, in fact, it's got to go to here at least, I'm now going to allege. Because either the other end of this line is a brown 3, or it's counting exactly how many yellows are along the line. In fact, that's got to grow, I've just realised. That's currently rectangular, and the only place it can grow to is here. That can't be a brown 3. It could be a yellow 2, but the sum won't work. So yeah, I think that feels right. So we've got to go there. This is yellow now. It should be a 2 if it's the end of the line. It's not. So then we've got to go there. Now, if that was a circle, that wouldn't be correct, because that would be a yellow 3, counting the yellows on the line, but it's part of a much bigger region. So that's not the end of the line. So the line's going to have to go there. Could those join up? Oh, don't know. What's that that's just flown past? Oh, it's a bit of thistledown. I'm not sure is the answer. I'm not sure. I do think there's a big problem with this being the end of the line. I'm almost coming to the view that these have to join up, but that might be wrong. Because I'm just thinking, haven't I got a problem? No, that could be brown 3. That's going to throw the spanner in the works here. The possibility that wherever this line ends, it's not ending in a yellow cell. Okay. Okay, let's do some more shading then. That's got to be yellow, because otherwise that can't be rectangular. So this is currently banana shaped. Those digits add up to 10. That's a 2-8 pair, isn't it? They add up to 10. They're not 3, 7, 1, 9 or 4, 6. So they are 2, 8, which means that's 5 by Sudoku. This is an 8 by Sudoku. It's not clearing any fog. I'm not terribly surprised about that. 1 is in a domino. So 1 is in a triomino in box 3. It might be difficult. It might be difficult to make sure that this area is only of size 6 at the moment, so it has to grow 1 more cell, but it's got to do it in such a way that when we add the remaining shading in, we don't create non-rectangular chocolates, if that's a way of describing the world. So if that was yellow, that would be brown, and then this would be yellow in the corner. And if that was yellow, both of those would be brown. That would work, actually. So is this always yellow? No, it's not. No, it's not at all. No. Oh, golly. Okay, so now I'm getting stuck. What do we think we do next? I haven't got a clue. I've not got a clue. That one is... that's got fog on it. 3 in row 2 is over on the right hand side, because it can't be here. So this digit is relatively restricted. It's a 6 or a 7. But it's not on a line, it's not in a circle, so it's probably not important. Gosh, it's tricky to know, isn't it? Or at least it's tricky for me to know. How or where I'm meant to look now. I don't know the size of that chocolate. I know wherever this finishes. I know this doesn't finish in the top row for the reasons we said before, so I know it's going to bend. So if it did bend here, that would have to be chocolate, because we know that the size of the banana region is just going to be entirely made up of the line here. And we know it's not maths, is it? I'm just thinking, if that line is as short as it could possibly be, which would be to this cell, this would be a 4. No, it couldn't be. Actually, it can't end there. Oh, golly, I've got a horrible feeling it's going to be some really complicated deduction based off the fact that these can't be 4s and 5s. And we can't attach this banana to that cell. And that can't be a 6. Well, what about there then? If that was a... And that would create a funny brown shape, which we couldn't have either. So these, hang on, these are 1, 3, 6, 7. 2 and 8 are over here in row 3. That's just Sudoku, that's nothing clever at all. And what are these things doing? So let's say it ended in an 8 somehow. I don't know quite how it would look to do that. But then we'd be saying the total of the line would be 28. 5, 6, 7. Let's say it did that. 28. That's just very, very difficult to understand. That is, I suppose, that digit is already a size 4 region, isn't it? So that is at least a 4. Just well put that in. 4, 5, 6, 8, or 9. I mean, it's a terrible, terrible pencil mark. Okay, right, so this is brown, isn't it? Because if not, that would be a size 10 region. So that's brown. That's a tiny win for the goodies. I'm wondering if there's some reason I know that this marries up with this. Can that be the case with that dripping over the edge, though? Does that work? That feels wrong, but I can't quite articulate why. Okay, let's just think that through. So imagine that this joined up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This would be an 8, which it could be. "38" would have to be the size of the digits along the line. That's probably achievable. And then this, which would be that big, would only be of size 7, so it would have to grow by 1. Yeah, it's different from up here, isn't it? It's weird, but it is different. The existence of this has changed the dynamic. It still seems to be possible, for instance, to have a shape like that or something, if these do join together. Okay, so maybe I've got to think about what happens if they don't. Because I was feeling there was a problem with that. So let's imagine... Oh, but then I thought this could be a brown 3 at the end of the thing. Oh, no, hang on, that's a problem. Okay, here's the point. This can't end in brown 3. Sudoku would totally allow it to, but then it would be counting the number of browns on the line, and it would be wrong, because there would be 4 cells along the line, and there can only be 3. So this is huge. I don't know where this ends, but I do now know it ends in a yellow. It ends in a yellow. And that yellow is going to count 2 things. Firstly, the number of yellows along the line, but the problem is if these are not on the same line as this, and yet they're included in the count, how can that be? The totals could never match up. That's it, isn't it? So what I'm saying is, let's imagine this line goes off a wandering and ends there. And then this is counting the number of yellows along the line. And we know that that's just going to be the difference between 3 and the total length of the line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this would be 6. All of these would be yellow, but these should be included in the count. And they wouldn't be, because that 6 is also counting the size of the region. So in fact, this is massive. I see the point now. This is massive for many reasons. I now know that these two meet up, because it's the only logical way that you could ever finish this line. But also, what would happen if they don't meet up there? It's already of length. If we do join them up here, this is an 8. Can you see that if they even go 1 further on, this would become a 10? Because we can't do something like that to only introduce 1 more cell. We'd have to do that, which would introduce 2 more. And that can't be true, because then this would be a 10. So it is 8. Correct. That's very relieving. That can't be 8 now. This does join up. These are both yellow. Now, I mean, this is where it gets very difficult to understand, though, because I know this is only of size 7 now, so it's got to grow, and it could grow here into an 8. I mean, what on earth do we do with this? This line can't add to 83, can it? That's just a nonsensical total. 38 is quite big, actually. Oh, in fact, look, we know the total of that foursome. That's 20. It's 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 5 plus 8 is 13, so they are 20. So those digits sum to 18, which 5 digits summing to 18, what would happen if you didn't include a 1? 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 20. That's too many. So there is a... this is going to get me a digit up there. There is a 1 in that foursome to make this line add up to 38, because what we're saying is those digits there sum to 18. So they must include a 1 and a 2 for that matter. But we'll worry about that in a moment. That's giving me a digit here, I think. Yes. Oh, now, that's interesting, because that has confirmed my hypothesis that this was going to have to turn, and it's given me a couple more positions. We know it's entirely yellow, this line, the remainder of it. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can't end there because that can't be a 5. Okay. We know this one only includes yellows that are along its line, so it doesn't include that one. Remember all the logic earlier that said that line was different from that line, so that one is definitely brown. It's still really difficult. Oh no. 1 in row 7 is in one of those 3 cells. This is so going to be an 8, isn't it? It just is. How long have I been going for? Oh, time just flies when you're enjoying a puzzle. Okay, I don't know what to do. Really don't know what to do. I don't really understand how I'm ever going to know how this unwinds in terms of where the final yellow cell is in that little congregation. Oh, hang on. I've just realised something. I was focusing on the brown digits being rectangular, but I can't have a yellow digit on its own. Yeah. That's how you figure this out. Right. If this was yellow, this would be brown, because this would be a 7-cell region then. That would be brown, and these couldn't join up because they wouldn't be rectangular, which puts a yellow in the corner, which would be rectangular. So I needed to take the logic one stage further. So that's brown. This is therefore yellow, and this is therefore brown. And the weird thing about that is it's done nothing for the I mean, obviously it does stuff for the shading, but it doesn't really help me with the puzzle. It just clears up a conundrum that I didn't understand over there. So it probably comes back to how we make those add up to 18. Now, do they need a 3? I think it's that they don't, do they? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 is 18. So we can't say this is a 1-3 pair. That's very distressing. There is a 2 in there as well, because otherwise we would break the 18 cap with 1 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. That is 19. That's too many. Okay. So if this... What do we think this is going to be? What colour? If it's yellow, it's 8, which would do a little bit of Sudoku for us. So why can't it be brown? If it's brown, it can't be 2. So this area would have to become a bigger rectangle. So that would mean that this would be an even number that would be 2, 4, if it was that shape. Oh, it's going to be something to do with that. What I'm thinking is, if this grows like this, it's certainly... Okay. All right, let's do this slowly. So if this is brown, it can't be a 2 because of this 2. So it would have to grow and be still rectangular. So either this was a yellow 8 or it's a brown 4. That's the first option we need to consider. Now, if it is a brown 4, remember this brown 4 has to be surrounded on all sides by yellow. So the final yellow in our 8 would be that one, and that would be brown, and that would be brown, and that would be yellow. Both of those would be yellow. And that might be okay. But I don't think this could be bigger than that, because if it went again and got any bigger, these two would both be yellow, and that would make this 8 too big. So I think we can say, without fear or favour, that this is either 4 or 8. Now that means... if this was 4, the composition of this couldn't include an 8. Because it would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 then. So it would... if this was 4... 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 would be how it would have to be formed. If this was 4. 2, 3, 5, 7. This would be a 1, 3 pair. This would be a 2, 5, 7 triple. And, I mean, that might be wrong for some reason, but I can't see why. Oh, I can sense the ghosts of Simon's future shouting at him for being an idiot. Okay. Okay. So goodness only knows what we do with this then. Oh, hang on, I've just noticed something I hadn't seen before. This green line here is going downwards. Does that mean it's joining there? That would be good. That would be good, wouldn't it? I wonder if can it end there? Actually, this is an interesting point, because if it can't end there, it can't go into that brown again, because that's going to make this total incorrect. There's only 3 browns on this line, and I've found them all. So it would have to go to there and close the lid. This could be where we're meant to look next. Right, so why can't that be? Oh, it can't be. It would be a yellow 2. And it can't be a 2 because that's a 2-8 pair. So the line doesn't end there and has to go there. Beautiful. So now we've had all of the browns on the line. That must be a yellow on the line. And now I can just count the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 5 in the middle of the grid. Boom. Got it. Okay, that's good. Well, is it? Well, it's an advantage. Right, that 5 is the size of its region. So both of those become brown. That wouldn't be rectangular if that extended. And that's going to do it. Because we looked at this cell and whether it could be a 2 and we decided it couldn't be. So that is a single cell. That's yellow, which means all of these are brown. This yellow has to grow, otherwise it wouldn't be rectangular. That yellow mustn't grow or it would be a banana. And that's done a load more shading. We've got some maths to do on that line. We can write 8 in there. Yes. We can write 8 in here. We can write, oh, something happened then. 2 in here. 2's not down there anymore. This is brilliant, isn't it? It's quite brilliant. It's a bit complicated to get your head around, but it's... Oh, well, hang on. Okay, so there's a green line that's gone there and there. So we know that this can't go down now because it would make the total of the browns on the line incorrect. So it's not going down. I know they sum to 18. 18 plus 8 is 26, so they add up to 19. 19 and 9 is 28, so these sum up to 17 by the secret. What did I say those were? Was it 19? I can't remember. 18 and 8, 26, 19. I'm just wondering if we can put the 3 in there. But we could if it was 3, 7, 9. Okay. There's a fly just flown in. Go away, fly. This is brown, isn't it? So if it does grow, it's got to grow very regularly in order to stay chocolate. Okay, well the thing I haven't checked at all is the nature of this line in terms of its sum. So I need this to do some really heavy lifting. Now, I'm just wondering if you could get some ludicrous total. I know you can't include 8 in any of those. You could include 2 9s and perhaps 1 7. No 6s. So 7 5. No, you could put a 5 here. So maybe 2 9s, 5 7 would be the maximum for those digits, which is 12 30. Plus 10 is 40. So it's not possible this adds up to 53. It does add up to 35. These add up to 10. So those digits add up to 25. Without using 8, but with a possible repeated 9, which is a problem because that's going to take all the... If you knew that digits couldn't repeat, it would be that would be quite an interesting total. But I don't think it is a very interesting total. 2 is in one of those cells. I mean, it's surprising it's not an interesting total, but I really don't think it is. Okay. I fear we're going to get stuck again now. I'm trying to see where it's going to be. It's probably this line, is it? I know that's not a circle. I know we can't go there. That has to be brown, doesn't it? Because I'm not allowed to go there. If it was yellow, it would join to this yellow region, but we know this yellow region is entirely made up of the digits along its own line. So that is brown. Now, to keep this rectangular, that means that's brown as well, which is it's probably neither here nor there, but it is true. So this at the moment is 5 cells, but it's the other end of this line is a circle that must specify its count correctly. So it could be there, couldn't it? If that was a circle, and then these would be brown, those would be brown, and that would probably work. I don't know what to do with that knowledge, though. The fact that that probably is what happens is not good enough to know that that's how we meant to proceed. Okay. So how do we do this then? I've looked at this line. I've got an approximation. Well, I know exactly what they sum to, but I don't think I can use it. Oh, no, I know those add up to 18. Even if I knew there was a 3 there, I don't think it would be tremendously potent. If there isn't a 3 in this, we know it's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Maybe there's a reason it can't be that. If it was 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, no, that would be 3, 7, 9. That's what we looked at before. I couldn't see a problem with that. So these would be 3, 7, 9. This would be a 7 or a 9. And we've got this thing that's emerged in the fog over here, which is, I mean, it's so difficult to know whether that's doing something profound. One of those is a 6 or a 7. I don't think that's it. Is there any circle that I've not used? I mean, there could well be. Or is it going to be something to do with the sum of this line? Does the sum of this line get awkward? Maybe that's why it can't end here. I mean, that would be very difficult to understand. Because what we're saying effectively is if I'm sorry, this is very confusing. I'm trying to understand exactly. I know this isn't the end of the line. So I know this line adds up to more than 25, I think. I think this is going to be the tens digit. Maybe that's an unwise assumption. I mean, it could actually I hadn't thought of that. Oh no, it can't be a 32 line because we know that the other side of the line is counting the number of yellows. So we're already up to like 62 and other nonsensical numbers. That's not going to work. So this is the tens digit for the sum of these digits plus wherever else this goes afterwards. I know there's an 8 in one of those by Sudoku. I know there's a 5 in one of those by Sudoku. I know there's a 3 in one of those 3. I mean, I could make... I don't like that pencil mark. I don't think that's adding anything to the knowledge of men. Okay. So what on earth do we have to think about now? okay, I do know they add up to 19. They must include a 9. That's true because they don't include an 8. And 7 plus 6 plus 5 is only 18. So I do know there's a 9 in one of those. That doesn't do anything. That was the first sensible thought I've had in a while. So this is a 9 plus either 3, 7, which would have to be there, look, by Sudoku. Or it's 9, 4, 6. Which would be that would have to be a 4, 6 pair. That would have to be a 9. But we did think, didn't we, that those were likely to add up. Or they could have included double 9. Oh, they can't now. Oh, maybe that's important then. Maybe that's what we have to revisit. Okay, well let's try that. The fact there is a 9 in one of those means this little collection of digits, which I think we worked out, summed to 25. They can have one 9 in them. Let's put a 9 there. What else can they have that's of any meaning? They can't have 8. They could have one 7 in one of those. They can have no 6s. They could have a 5 here. So at the moment we're up to 21. And they could have a 4, but only one 4. And the 4 would be up there. So the absolute maximum they can add up to is 4, 5, 7, 9, which is 25, which is the number we first thought of. I mean, that's so difficult to see. That's correct then, isn't it? I need to double check that. You can't put 8 on it. You can put 1, 9, no 6s. I said 1, no, 1, 5 is correct. And well, that's the key, isn't it? Because the 5 has to go there. Yes, yes. And the 4 has to go there. Which means this is the 9, and this is the 7. Please, please, yes. Okay, oh, I'm delighted about that. Okay, that's kept us in the game. Now, 7 not being in that sequence, it means the 3 is not in that sequence. So this is 1, 3. Now in this column now, we need 6 and 8, 6 and 7. Oh, well, where's 7? 7's got to be at the top. So that's a 6. So this is 4, 6, 9 now. Which means we worked out earlier that meant those two were 4 and 6. It means these two are 2 and 3, which I can do the order of. Yes. Oh, this is lovely. Okay, good. Now, what are those cells? 2, 5, 7, I think. Let's put that in. Looks right, but from a Sudoku perspective. And if that's 2, 5, 7, that 6 is doing some work. So that's 6, that's 4. And in this column, we haven't put 9 in. Now, these don't include 6 anymore, which actually, that's slightly strange, but never mind. Okay, I've got a line here that's got a circle. It's got to have some more yellow on it, because it can't be a 2. Okay, let's do some more pencil marking. So this is 2, 8, 9. This is 3, 5, 8. I still don't know how this line works up here. I don't think I've learned anything new. This is the main new thing. We've learned that this cell... Oh, I was thinking because it had nothing in it, I could make that chocolate line was finished, but that's not how the world works. I mean, this digit is quite a big digit. It's 4, 7 or 9, isn't it? So this yellow has to be bigger. And this line needs at least 2 more yellows on it. And at the moment we know it's there and it doesn't go up there. And somehow, I think it's this line at the top. That's probably where we need to look. It's just terrifying to try and work it out. But I mean, staring at the grid and being naive about it, it doesn't feel like we can do a lot else. I mean, I could pencil mark some cells in the fog here, but until I know what's under the fog, I mean, there's 2 things that we haven't understood. The first is this line, but I don't understand how I know enough about this line to conclude anything, really. I know that's yellow, because this must be bounded on all sides. So I do know that's yellow. I hadn't figured that out. So if that was 4, that would be brown, that would be brown, those would be brown, that would be yellow. All of these would be yellow, actually. If this is 4. It's really hard to understand how that could be the case. Because all I'm thinking is this needs to travel somewhere and get another yellow on the line, or another 2 yellows actually, without adding to that or that. It would have to come through there, wouldn't it? Or maybe that's the point. Oh, but no, all that's going to do is get rid of 4 from this cell, which actually is not going to be enough. It just means this yellow could go off a wandering down here. But let's just think that through, because it's the only logical thought I've had. If this is 4, we know that region is finished. So we know the browns would do that to frame it. And you can see then that effectively you can almost fill in the shading of the grid. Oh, and that actually could work. I hadn't realised that. That's going to be correct. Well, I mean, no, that's a ludicrous over assertion. But I bet that's correct. Do I think that? I'm not sure. I think that's correct or not. Oh. Oh, it's given me a different idea to think about. Let me just go back. Maybe that's the point. I'm wondering whether this has to go there and extend. Because if this is the end of this chocolate bar, if it's just a relatively modest size of chocolate bar, and those 2 are both yellow, this is not a banana yet, so it has to grow. Now it could grow here and connect to this, but that means this line 6, 7, 8. Oh, that's ridiculous. That could be correct then. So maybe this is a 28 line and it takes in all of those cells. And then we'd have to do maths to work out whether or not that fails for some strange reason. Because we'd already have 17 there. All of those would be on. That does fail. It does fail, but it's tricky as anything to work out. So if this ends, these 2 can't attach to this. So this would be brown. This line is wrong. So it has to move up. 2, 3, 4, 5. So can that be a 6 maybe? That's the only way it could work. If that's 6, both of those are brown, and that has to grow, so that forces this not to be a 4. I don't know, is the short answer. One, two. Okay, what are those digits? That would be a sensible thing to pencil mark, rather than all of the nonsense I'm doing at the moment. They are 4, 5, and 6 for sure. And at them, okay. That's okay. Goodness me. Right. I think I can do something with this by considering this line, which currently has 5 yellows on it. So we have to either end this line in 6, 7, or 8, or something like that. But if it extends to here, it's then of length 6. So the only way it could go then is to get to that one and be 28. And we've already disproved that does not work because the line is already 28 before you take that cell and that cell into account. So if it comes to this cell, there's literally no way it can finish. That's huge, actually, if that's true. I think that might be the way to do this, is to consider whether this line can ever go to this cell. It can't be the end of the line, because it's not a 6. It can't get a 7 from up there, so it's not turning back on itself, so it has to come down here. That's not a 7, so it doesn't work. It has to go there for an 8. And that 28 line is impossible. 17 and 11 is already 28. And you haven't taken those two into account. That's right, isn't it? So the line doesn't go here, so that's got to be brown. So the line must go here, and now it must end. Because if it went there, it would be length 7, and that can't be a 7. So that, I think, is a hidden circle under the fog, and that is a 6. Oh, that's hard. That was difficult. There may well have been a better way of doing that, but that was my way. Now, we've got to make that chocolate, so that is banana. I don't know whether, I do know. That's chocolate shaped, but it's meant to be banana, so that does extend, taking this 4 away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It probably is 7, isn't it? And then all of those would be brown. But we've got some maths to do at the top now, because this line is meant to sum to 26. And at the moment, we've got 17 there, 26. So we've got 21. Oh, so this can't have 7 on it, is the point. It's just, it gets too big. So this is 7. And now we've got 17, 21, and that's a 5. So we put 5 there, 4 there. This isn't 5. Now. Okay, now we know this grows, because if this didn't grow, all of those would be yellow, and this would be size 10. So it definitely grows at least to here. That's exciting. Things I find exciting. We don't actually know what's going on here either, do we? I mean, that's quite a weird point, but that can't be a circle because it would miscount the number of browns on the line. So somehow this line is getting bigger. And I'm actually going to say, therefore, that I think the other circle on this line is going to have to be down here in the fog. It could be another yellow circle, although it seems very unlikely. because the number involved would be so enormous. Or it could be a brown circle. I don't quite know how to think about that. If this is a 7, those would both be brown. And that would finish, those would all be yellow. And that would have to be yellow to make that still chocolatable. So those would be yellow. And then you could just have a brown either there or there to finish off at the bottom. So that's, I think it's quite likely this is a 7. I know that's not logical, but it's not enough anyway. Golly, okay. What on earth do we do then? I mean, the thing is, there's not much to work on here, is there? If this was a 9, we're saying it's got to grow 2 more. I mean, it's quite an interesting question. Can it do that without growing into this cell? Probably not. Because if it just took those two would be brown and this wouldn't be a rectangle. So if this is a 9, this is yellow. And then you can't do that or you have a problem with this region again. So you have to stop there. So if this is 9, it's those 2 that are yellow, and the entirety of the bottom of the grid is brown. All 12 of those cells are brown. Okay, well that doesn't work for the most bizarre reason. The reason that doesn't work is I think... no, it doesn't. It really doesn't work. I don't think it stands up to scrutiny, but it's very hard. I think the problem we're going to have there is that this cell, or this line here, the other circle on it is either a repeat of this digit. Oh, could it be there? I didn't think of that. Is that in the fog? Ah, it's not. Okay, no, that's all right then. It can't be there because that would show a circle. So it would have to be a yellow cell down here, which in the event this is 9 couldn't exist. Or it would have to be a brown cell that contained the length of the number of brown cells on the region, on the line, but was also the size of its region. And if that brown cell was down here, which is where it would have to be, because this can't be a 4, it would have to be a 12 or something down here, which is clearly nonsensical. So the only way that logic is wrong is if if this is a 9, if this cell here is a 9, is there a way of building it that is not those 2 cells? There's just not. If it's those 2, that's brown and that's brown, that's not rectangular. So this is definitely yellow. That can't be. Yeah, it doesn't work. So that's definitely 7. I'm going to now allege. Yes. Oh, now look what's happening down here. It's going over there. A weird thing is, I'm not sure how much further that's taken me. Oh, no, it has taken me further, because that is already of 7. Yeah, so that has to be a 7 size region, so both of those have to be brown. Now this can't grow, or it's not rectangular, so those are all yellow. That's got to be yellow. This is where we were before, isn't it? Now, now it's got even more tricky though. Oh, this is going to be it's going to be a 7. Oh no, it can't. Well, it could be a 7 down here maybe. It's fascinating, but it's not easy to finish this, I'm going to allege. Let's look at this row. What do we need in it? 149. Yeah, where's 4? Maybe that's been available forever. I never saw it. Now that 4, okay. Okay, no, that has done something. It's sent it down again. Okay, so how many yellows have we got on this line now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We haven't got nearly enough. That could be yellow, 6. And then it could go there, 7. How many browns have we got on the line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'd need a 6. If it ends in brown, it needs to be a 6. It can't end in brown because we can't get the 7 count high enough before we'd hit. Yeah, it's very complicated, but let's just work that through. Is it possible for this line to have a 6 or to have a brown at the end of it? And the problem we're going to have there. Oh, well, then it could be there. No, because that would be only 5. No, that would be 6. Maybe it could be 6 in the corner. I hadn't thought of that. If this does a total rinky-dinkage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that's got 8 yellows. It still doesn't work. I don't think this works anyway, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Six. If that was brown. Hang on. I think it has to end with a 7 here. I just do. But now I'm sort of doubting myself. Oh no, could it end there? I didn't think of that. Oh no, hang on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no! I've thought of another possibility. I was all but about to convince myself it ends in a 7, and now I think it could end in a 6 because that is under the fog. I don't believe it. How on earth are we ever going to know which of those it does? Oh, maybe Sudoku. Let's check Sudoku. I haven't thought about Sudoku for a little while. What are these digits? They are 1, 2, 6, 9. That's not 6. That's incredibly unhelpful, isn't it? Wow. I am desperately looking to try and work out what this all means. And I am failing mightily. How are we going to know as well? I mean, that's a very strange question. Like, how do you know whether this line adds up to 77 or 76 or 67? I think it's got to be one of those. But I don't see how we're ever really going to know. Well, I mean, I need to find out. I need to work it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, we're on a count of 5 at this point. And where would that 7 be as well? Because if that was brown, you could wiggle here and then here. To pick up the 7 that you needed, and the fact that you had 6 browns on the line would be neither here nor there because it wouldn't really be relevant to anything. This is bizarre. I think I've forgotten a rule. There's quite a lot of rules that you have to keep track of in this puzzle. And I suspect I'm forgetting something here. Hang on, I've got something. Yes, I have forgotten a rule. That's impact. In fact, that's massive. I've just realised something, of course. If this ended in a 7 down here, in a circle, that needs to be in a size 7 region, and it can't be. So it doesn't end in a circle. It does end in a circle, but not a circle 7. So it must end... Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It must end... Well, it can't end in a 6 here for the same reason it couldn't end in a 7 there. The 6 region wouldn't be big enough. Oh, I see. So what's going to happen is it's going to end in there in a 6. That's what's going to happen. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And it's completely logical. Once you see the logic in the correct way. Right, okay. So now all I need to do is make sure I can get here. I think it's that one, but it might not be. And get 7 yellows on the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That has to be... Yeah, because I can't get... Well, unless I could get 8 or 9. No, because this is size 6. It's the maximum. So it is only 6 browns. So this is the final brown. So that cannot be a brown on the line. That's definitely yellow. And this must be brown to avoid a rectangular yellow. And we must turn, because otherwise we're going to get the wrong count of browns. Now, have I got 7 yellows now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I have. So I don't want any more yellows. I go in there, and that should be a 6, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good grief. Wow, that's hard. I mean, that's off if you've all sailed through that step of the puzzle. That's not 6. This is, that's going to do some thingies for me. 1, 6, 1, 3. Come on. Finish. Naughty puzzle, that's a 6. 4, 9 pair here. Okay. I have seen there's an X there. X is useful. That's a 2, 8 pair, which is going to place my 7 down here. So 2, 8 pair, that's presumably going to do lots of nice Sudoku for me. 2, yeah, it is. 5, 8, 7. Maybe not as much Sudoku as I was hoping was going to get done, but something. Okay. Okay, well that's good and all. No, please don't let me have to do this lines mathematics. Please. Oh no. Hang on. Let's just try and avoid that for a second. Where's 6 in this row? It's got to be there. Okay, that did nothing, did it? There's a 2 in one of those. There's a 2 in one of these. I don't know where the 2 is up there. Oh, goodness. I mean, I'm wondering whether I really do have to pencil mark this to within an inch of its life. What are these digits? 1, 2, 4, 5, 9. Now, what can we get rid of in the columns? 4 from this one. 4 from this one. 5 from this one. It's tricky because there could be something in that column. No, I was going to say where's 3 in it? It's nearly a good question, but it's got 2 positions. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 at the bottom. Let's do the same thing there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. This is not 4. This is not 5. It's the same, isn't it? It's not much better. Oh, 2 can't go. 2 can't go in either of those because of the 2, 8 pair. 2 can't go in those because of the 2, 8 pair. Oh, that's better. That is better. Nearly. It's nearly better. Okay, I mean, this is what we're going to have to do, isn't it? Somehow or other, we're going to have to look at the length of this line, which is those cells, look. And we're going to have to be able to conclude, I don't like that colour. We're going to have to conclude something intelligent about whether they add up to 76 or 67. And whether or not that is in any way... How on earth do you do that? I mean, there's a lot of real estate covered by that line. I bet you it can't add up to 76, actually. Because... At least that would be something. 76 just seems too big. Because if the purples add up to 76, plus the 7 and the 6 themselves, which is another 13, that's 89. That's saying that these, so including the ends, we've got 89 in those digits. I mean, 89 is almost 2 boxes of a Sudoku. How do we disprove that, though? 90? What's 2 plus 8 plus 9 when it's at home? 18. No, 19. 19, Simon. 19. So those cells there, i.e. these 2 boxes, each of which by the secret sum to 45, plus another 19, sum to 2 boxes of Sudoku is 90, so 109. So they sum up to 109, which means that if these did add up to 76, those would add up to, what did we say it was? 89, wasn't it? 11. So these cells would have to add up to 20. That's not going... Oh, actually, it's probably not going to work. I don't think it can work. 6... No, it can't quite work. It's close, though. No, It is relatively close. Let's think about... I might have to think about this really properly. The minimum sum of those 4 is 12. So can you keep those down to 8? Maybe... Oh no, the 7's out as well. No, sorry, I didn't see that the 7 wasn't on the line. No, it's totally broken. It's completely broken, because what we'd be saying is that those digits there, those ones, have to add up to 20. And you can see you've got a 6 and a 7 and, an assortment of other digits that would be far too big. In fact, 67 is going to be difficult. 67, I'm going to allege, is going to be difficult. Let's highlight the digits there. So what we're saying is, I think these are 67. Now 67, no, the line is 67, plus 6 plus 7, that's another 13, so that's 80. So the sum of the green shaded ones is 29. It's 29. Now the sum of those two on their own is 13. So let's take those out. So the sum of the remaining ones is 16. those remaining green digits sum to 16. So this can't be a 9, because then these would already be at least, well, they'd be more than 15 actually, because you can't include a 1 in any of them. So they would be at least 2, 3, 5 for 10, plus the 9. It's 19. What did I say I was wanting? That's already too many anyway. Let me just do the maths again. 16 is what we need the greens to add up to overall. So this is definitely a 1. Didn't clear the fog. So this, that's going to do some things over there. So 1 and 9 go in over there. This becomes a 2-9 pair. And I suspect this is how we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to work hard on these green cells and work out from them how to do it. I think that might be the way to do it, is think about 9 in the column. I don't think 9 can be green for the same reason it couldn't have been green in that cell. So 9 is never green in the column, which means that is the 9. Not clearing any fog though. I can't actually be sure where the fog is at this juncture, but it didn't clear it. Okay. So has that done anything for me? I feel like it's done a little tiny bit. So I've now still got the 16 problem. No, but it's now a 15 problem once we take this one out. So the remaining have to be 15. What if that was 8? This would be it would already be 16. Because that's what those would add up to. So you can't put 8 in the column either. That's got to be 2. And let's take the 2 out. We're now going for 13 from the remaining 4 digits. So if this was 8, we'd get 2 high. So we could take the 8 out of that one. So we've now got a 3-5 pair. This becomes an 8. This becomes a 2. That becomes a 2. That becomes a 9. It's not clearing any fog. But I think it's logical. This is an 8. Okay, and now, where are we down to? Is it 13? And we've got 8 there, definitely. So these have to add to 5. So they have to be 4 and 1. That's where my logic takes me. 4, 1, 5, 3, 3. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. 4, 9. I'm really worried that this isn't... Maybe I'd cleared all the fog. That's the only chance. 5, 2, 2, 4. I don't know. I think I did that logically at the end. And the puzzle seems to have finished, which is a great thing. But I couldn't. I was expecting a big... Oh, I got it right, though. Expecting a big fog revelation. Wow, that's another tricky one. SamuPiano, happy birthday. It definitely didn't get easier. And it's a very strange puzzle, actually, from that perspective, because it started off, and I felt like I was making really good progress at the start. And then it just got harder and harder. And that end step, I should have been... Okay, the only point where I felt embarrassed, really properly embarrassed, was not spotting the thing about the size of the regions down there. I should have been quicker to that. But that would have only taken a few minutes off the video, probably. It's a beautiful puzzle. Lovely to revisit Choco Banana as well. Let me know in the comments how you got on with the puzzle. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.